every time I hear somebody say that, I'm entitled to it, I have free speech or stuff like that, I always have to remind them that free speech isn't free. It actually costs a lot. And freedom of speech is a concept that people take for granted. And right now, we're going to take a look at another unfair consequence to just speaking your mind. Not hateful, just speaking your mind. Let's talk about it. So as you can see here, Letterboxd inexplicably bans Black Libertarian film critic Jacob Smith and his Society Reviews account. I have no idea what Letterboxd is, but it is apparently pretty important to Mr. Jacob Smith and his Society Reviews account. Society Reviews is, they review films, movies. Letterboxd has banned film critic Jacob Smith's Society Reviews account. In a post to Society Reviews earlier this month, Smith revealed that Letterboxd banned their account, which included over 500 reviews on the site. Our Letterboxd page for Society Reviews has been removed without notice. As you see in the link provided, all 500 plus reviews posted on the site have been scrubbed clean, and all links to our page and reviews are currently broken. So what is the reasoning behind this? Why did Letterboxd decide that they wanted to get rid of Jacob Smith's account? This is how they explained it. They said, your account was removed from our service because several reviews were in serious breach of our community policy. You must not use this service to promote, engage, or incite hate, violence, discrimination, or intolerance, including based on race, age, gender identity, ethnicity, religion, disability, or sexual orientation. So what exactly did Jacob Smith say that violated this particular rule? Well, if we go through here, he didn't receive any warning or any notice from that company, Letterboxd. Now, I'm assuming that not every single video, not every single one of his 500 plus videos about movies contained racial or age-based or religious-based criticisms, comments, or content. But here is he emailed their help desk and he asked them, and they said that he was promoting, engaging, or inciting. So pretty much the same thing. A black libertarian film critic was guilty of promoting hate and discrimination via the platform. He got a message from a follower on Letterboxd that apparently someone within the company took exception to his Queen and Slim review that was posted back in December, where he said the Black Lives Matter themes of the film radical and exhausting. He called them that. The Black Lives Matter themes of the film radical and exhausting, not to mention a fundamental failure of a romance movie. Letterboxd is supposedly a film review sharing site that allows amateur and independent reviewers to share their thoughts. So, here's the basic rundown of this whole thing. So, according to him, or according to a follower, he made a comment on a mainstream movie, a movie that did have a semi-wide release, or if not a wide release, and he spoke about some of the themes of that movie, the themes being, of course, in this particular, the Black Lives Matter themes. He called them radical and exhausting, and he spoke on how the movie, which is essentially supposed to be a romance movie, if I'm not mistaken, Queen and Slim, I haven't seen it, but it's about a couple on their first date. And their first date kind of goes awry or something like that. And I might be completely wrong about the plot on that one. but he calls that a fundamental failure of a romance movie. So the sensitivity to this Black Lives Matter portion of it is probably what actually did it. The sensitivity. Somebody at Letterboxd didn't like the idea that he was speaking to these themes. They didn't like that he was speaking counter to what maybe their own personal views are, and they decided to sort of silence him. But then did they silence him in the way where they asked him to remove that particular video. Maybe they felt like that one was particularly sensitive. They took down everything. And the reason why they do those sort of things, why they paint it with this broad stroke, is because they never want to be accused of playing any sort of favoritisms or anything like that. So when somebody else does something even remotely similar to that, and they do the same exact thing to them, and they can do the same exact thing to somebody else, and they can call it all fair and even. So they have to go to the most harshest and extreme of punishments and no degrees. So that's why they took all of his videos down from this site. But the idea that Letterboxd, which is supposedly a platform for amateur and independent reviewers to share their thoughts, that they would take exception to somebody sharing their thoughts on a theme of a movie is completely SJW bullshit. Now, you don't have to agree with his frame of thought to know that what happened to this guy was completely and totally bullshit. He was working with it. He wasn't promoting hatred and violence by saying he thought that a particular movement was radical and exhausting. And I'm not even going to talk to the fact that he is black. I'm not going to talk to that because it doesn't really matter. You can have an opinion on something outside of, I talk about white people all the time. It's perfectly fine. And I'm sure white people talk about Hispanics all the time. And everyone has their views on everything nowadays anyway. And that's perfectly fine as long as you treat each other with respect. And the idea that he wasn't treating somebody, and I haven't seen the video. For all I know, in the video, he's going ham on this thing. Even though I still believe if in that video he was doing that, they should have asked him to take that particular video down from the site and not completely remove his account. Or give him some sort of say, hey, you know what, this is strike one, you're in violation because of this and whatever. We need you to take down this video, and this is your first strike. But apparently that's not what they did there. But the idea that if he shares his idea on a platform that's supposed to be promoting sharing your ideas, and it gets banned because that idea is not something that you on the other side are comfortable with, you as a platform should be agnostic. YouTube has so many different opinions. They have, we have people that love movies, and then other people that completely 180 the opposite way, and that they hate that same movie. We have people like, I personally love certain movies and stuff that, people have sent me messages saying, what the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking idiot? And as long as there's a certain level of respect there, which he's got 500 plus videos on the platform. I'm assuming he's pretty respectful when it comes to that. And he's a libertarian. And libertarians are usually, live and let live sort of people. They don't really, they're not too crazy or gung-ho about, crazy stuff. So, this is a tough one for me because I haven't seen the video. But I will tell you this, though. You can't have 500 plus videos on a site and have been constantly doing this. There was never any warning to this guy. They didn't even tell him that this is why he was actually taken off of the site. A follower told him this is exactly what. And it's crazy that these companies that, we don't, we're actually, some people actually rely on, we have to toe the line. So what's happening is that these companies are shaping the way that the content or the ideas that are being disseminated out to people, and that content and those ideas are shaping what the next group of Americans are really going to be like. The people that inherit it after us, they are going to be soft, jelly-filled weirdos, because the content that we're giving them is soft, jelly-filled, weird content because of bullshit like this, because you can't express any other idea without it being called hateful, without it being called, discriminatory. You can't express any sort of ideas. And that's unfair. We play in their box though. And so at the end of the day, do they have the right to do this? Yeah. But because you have the right doesn't make it right. And this one's definitely not right. They should put this guy back on, Mr. Jacob Smith, 110%, reinstate it, and maybe this will actually help them out, because I had no fucking idea what Letterboxd was until this thing came on. So anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. If you like this content on this channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to vote Libertarian.